Hey, sixth graders. I know triangle and the area of a triangle is a new concept this week for all of you. So I wanted to give you a quick explanation the best way I could in my own words. So here are three different triangles. Obviously, they're triangles because they have three sides. They've nicely been labeled. Okay. So one thing we already know, and I'm going to tell you right now, I apologize if my writing's not so pretty because I don't have a touchscreen, but I'm going to do the best I can. So we know the area. In fact, this I can type. We know the area of a rectangle or a square is the same as length times width. Okay. So we're going to use that knowledge, and I'm going to explain to you how you can figure out the area of a triangle. So right now we have a triangle that's 8 yards and 8 yards, and we don't know how far this one is. However, if you put two of these same triangles together, so I'm going to draw this line, and we know that's going to be the same as this one, right? So this is going to be 8. And then if I connect this one, if I draw it perfectly, this one would also be 8. So I'm going to label those quickly. This would be 8 yards. And the bottom would also be 8 yards. So now we have a square that is 8 yards by 8 yards. And if we wanted to find the area, we already know up here from length times width. So to find the area, we would do 8 times 8. And that would be the same thing as 64 square feet. Now, that was to find the whole square. But you'll see that the triangle is only half of that. That's why the area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 times base times height. Okay? So the area of a triangle over here, so here's the triangle, the formula is 1/2 of the base times height. So if I write that in, we already had 1/2 times, here's our base, we already had the base, it's just upside down, of 8, and we know the height, this is how tall it was, so times 8, and we already said that we knew our fact 8 times 8 is 64, so we know we need to find 1/2 times 64. Well, half of 64 is another way of saying that, right? 1/2 of. So 64 is the same thing as 64 over 1. So if we multiply across, 1 times 64 is 64. And 2 times 1 is 2, which is the same thing as saying 64 divided by 2. And if you weren't sure to do that, you can always come over here and make your 64 in the house and put 2 on the outside, right? And then eventually, if you figure it all out, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 3 times 2, 6. So minus 0. Then we're going to bring down that 4. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. That would subtract and get no remainder. So the area of this triangle is 32 yards squared. So this triangle right here, we know it's half of that square, so that's why we did 1/2 base times height. Okay. I thought I could pause that. Sorry for the pause. So we'll very quickly do another one. So in this case, we know I don't know how to go back.